So what's up, everybody? I'm shooting this video from my mobile phone. I got a new Samsung Galaxy phone because it's got this really cool feature on it. You can edit videos. So I'm shooting this video, editing it from my phone. That way, just in case I'm ever out on the road and for some reason I can't get to my computer to make a vlog, I can still get a vlog to you guys. So this is just a practice video to see if I can actually make a video on my phone and if it turns out decent. So I set up my lights, shooting from the phone. This week's topic is infrared and ultraviolet light spectrums and some of the theories around why we actually use those types of cameras and illuminate with those types of light. So I'm going to get right into it, and right here I have a cheap camera. I only spent about 50 bucks on this at Radio Shack, and as you can see, it's full spectrum. Now, it's not actually a full spectrum, it's actually a wide spectrum, because any camera that's got a glass lens is not going to give you a full spectrum. The cameras that are full spectrum are ones that actually have a quartz lens. The quartz material actually allows the infrared and ultraviolet spectrums completely to come in to the light sensor, whereas the glass lenses do not. So more high-end cameras are going to have those quartz lenses. But this is a really good alternative to a full spectrum, and it's a lot cheaper, and it's still going to give you a good distance into those light spectrums. Now, on to why we use those things. Now, first reason really is we investigate at nighttime, and of course we want to investigate in the dark. So when you're investigating in the dark, a regular camera is not going to pick up the light. Even with high ISOs, it's not going to pick up light when there isn't any. So light that we cannot see as humans allows us to have the room stay dark to our eyes and illuminate with infrared and illuminate with ultraviolet, whichever one you choose. Now, if you have just an infrared camera, then you're not going to be able to do the ultraviolet. But this, like I said, is a wide spectrum. Now let's get into the actual theory. Now, infrared is something that's been used for a long time in ghost hunting, paranormal investigating, paranormal research, and really that's really the base of where it started. The ultraviolet is a much newer thing. Now, infrared is a really wide wave spectrum, very close to like radio waves and microwaves and stuff like that. Now, they all kind of go together in like the electromagnetic scale. So yes, radio waves are, on the same end of the spectrum as infrared light. Now, one of the reasons that you're going to want to use infrared is people theorize that these entities or these ghosts, these spirits, whatever you want to call them, that we're looking for, that we're trying to capture evidence of, move very quickly. And anytime you have something moving very fast, you're going to want to use a very wide spectrum of light. And infrared is that very wide spectrum of light. So that's one theory on why you'd want to use infrared. Another theory is that these entities or ghosts, whatever you call them again, they actually exist or coexist possibly in a different light spectrum. So if you have a wide spectrum or an infrared, take it out through your viewfinder and take a look around, and you'll notice that things look very differently when you can actually, when you're getting those infrareds and ultraviolets translated into something that we can see through the camera. Now, one thing that I noticed is some fabrics, you have a black fabric and a black fabric, and this fabric will look black, yet this fabric will actually look white. It's when you expose it to infrared and ultraviolet lights, they tend to do different things. It's kind of strange. But on to the next one. Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet's a new one. It got popular on Ghost Hunters, got popular on Ghost Adventures. And a lot of people report that ultraviolet actually scares spirits away. There's not really proof for that. It's kind of personal experience things. But I will say that, like I said, infrared is a very wide spectrum. Ultraviolet is a very small spectrum. It's very isolated. And that's up there with X-rays and gamma rays. And as you guys know, X-rays, gamma rays, that stuff's dangerous. So ultraviolet's a much smaller one, and maybe that's got something to do with it. As you know, ultraviolet rays from the sun, actually, they say can cause all sorts of things. So it's possible that they are, if they exist, afraid or harmed by ultraviolet, and they will avoid it. That's not something I can guarantee, but it's definitely possible. The ultraviolet is, like I said, it's a new thing, and all that is it gives you a different spectrum of light to view into. So like I said, if these entities, or whatever you call them, exist in some other form, some other light spectrum, then we have infrared. If you want to move out of our visible light spectrum to the other side of the spectrum, that's going to give you ultraviolet. Now, if they do exist in a different light spectrum, ultraviolet is an additional spectrum to the infrared. So it's more possibilities. But this is one thing that I want to point out that I don't like about the full spectrum cameras, is that it's okay to use a full spectrum light because we don't have any definitive answers to none of this stuff. But I do think that to really get the best benefits from ultraviolet and infrared would be to run in 2 or 3, at least 2 cameras that are all full spectrum or can see into the different light spectrums. Because if we want to gain evidence or gain information through research about which one of these is more effective, which one causes this activity, which one causes this activity, we need to be running those cameras separately. So we need a camera dedicated to infrared, and on the same investigation, same area, or possibly the same camera mount, another camera shooting ultraviolet. That way, if we watch these cameras side by side, time-stamped, we see this one, we see an entity or such move across the screen, a shadow figure, something, we capture something on this one, now we go to the ultraviolet. Did we capture this on the ultraviolet? If we did, then we can use that to say, well, maybe this type of entity or spirit does move through both light spectrums, or we could say maybe this was a natural cause, or it'll help us really figure out what happened. Now, if we got that in the infrared or the ultraviolet, and we didn't get it in the vice versa camera, then we could say, hey, maybe this leads to this type of entity, or maybe they exist in this one and they don't exist in this one. That's really what we need to do. And kind of go along with that, we see things out of our vision. Our vision is very, very small part of the light spectrum, and it's really amazing how much else is out there that we don't even see. Now, people always claim that they see things out of the corner of their eyes. They catch it out of the corner of their eye and they catch it. Your corners, your peripherals, are actually more sensitive to ultraviolet and infrared lights. So that could be an explanation why you see things out of the corner of your eyes. Because if these entities do exist in that light spectrum, this is a lot more sensitive to that out of your peripherals. So you wouldn't see it straight on, but out of your peripherals you see something move, and it could definitely be possible. Really, that's it. One theory of mine is that the ghost hunting at night thing, and some people don't subscribe to the theory that you have to ghost hunt at night, and I don't think so either, but I do have ideas that ghost hunting at night can help you gather more data for multiple reasons. Now, one of those reasons for me would be that typically the sound's going to be a lot less loud. You're going to have better isolation to your environment because usually people are asleep. They go to sleep, we bust out our equipment, and we go hunting for ghosts. Now, that's not always true. Some parts of the city, you're going to get a lot of noise. But that's one reason why it's nice to hunt at ghost time. That's one reason why it's nice to ghost hunt at night. Now, another reason is people say that at nighttime the moon has effects on the geomagnetosphere of Earth. And if that's true, it could possibly have an effect on how active spirits are. And that's why they call like 3 o'clock like witching hour, dead time, or something like that. Because that's when the moon's peaked over, kind of like noon. It's when it's peaked over us, and it should have the most effect on our geomagnetosphere. And ghost hunting at night, now to relate this to infrared and ultraviolet, ghost hunting at nighttime allows you to isolate the spectrums. So during night, there is no visible light, typically. Maybe a little bit from the moon, but you're inside a house, you're in a room, the doors are closed, we can't see anything. The reason we can't see anything is because there's no visible light to our eyes. Now, when it's completely dark and we can illuminate with ultraviolet and we can illuminate with infrared, that allows us to eliminate the visible light spectrum. So that allows us to just isolate the two. So if we do see an entity, just like I said before, isolate in ultraviolet, isolate in the infrared, that allows us to completely eliminate the fact that there was anything in the visible light spectrum. Because if we didn't see it with our eyes, but we caught it on camera, it doesn't exist in the visible light spectrum. Make sense? That's it. I don't know how editing this video is going to go with the editor on this camera, so that's why it's not chopped up a whole bunch. I tried to spew it out as fast as I could. I hope that it turned out good. I hope you guys, the quality should be decent. It's a good camera. So let me know what you guys thought. I might do this more often if I'm out on an investigation, out of town, out of state, who knows. Like always, check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on Google+. Interact with me. I'm going to try to get on the blog this week and post up some extra content, maybe some pictures from the camera that I modified thanks to Martin. I'll link his channel below. He gives a good tutorial on how to create that camera for yourself. The monthly question is still open. You can go answer that and have a chance to win a free t-shirt. So far we got one answer, and it's from an investigator, and he's not going to win the t-shirt, so because he's on our team. So you have a pretty good chance of winning it. Just go answer the question. It's a really simple question. Go over there, answer it. Until next time, shh. You done with EVP?